Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Carla if you're new here, and I make videos about showing up for yourself. In today's video, I am going to be chatting to you about my change up of my diet and my 28-day challenge that I challenged myself to see if I could improve my digestive health, my energy levels and my overall well-being through small changes with my food. I'm going to link the video up here if you guys would like to check out the before and why I'm doing it. Basically what I was doing was I noticed that I was having some kind of gut health issues and digestive system health issues. I was bloating, and I believe that the main reason I was having those issues was as a result of taking postnatal depression medication, which I have been on now since the end of December, I think, January. And I know that this is the second time I've been put on this medication, and I know that it plays havoc with my gut health. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's just too much like information sometimes, don't I share? Like, I know you like it when I'm like honest and stuff, but like sometimes, anyway. I am not willing to come off that medication, and I want to ensure that my mental health is really good, but I also want to ensure that my physical health is very good as well. I know that that gut health is very trendy at the moment, and there's a lot of chat about how the gut is our second brain, and how if our gut health is bad, then our mental health can also be poor, and there is a correlation between the two. And I just wanted to see for myself how I was going to get on if I did a couple of small changes. I'm not talking huge changes here. And I think that that's something that's really sustainable for long-term health habits, is making small changes and seeing how they fit into your life. And so what I was aiming to do, the first one was to cut out sugar. The second one was to switch out my oat milk for almond milk. And my third was to cut out or drastically reduce my consumption of artificial sweetener, specifically in my coffee, in terms of diet drinks and things like that. How did I get on, guys? Well, the first change that I'm going to chat to you about is about my switch between almond milk, switch from oat milk to almond milk. Typically, I would have 4 coffees in a day. Now, I know that one of the things that I did mention previously in my last video is that I do get acid reflux occasionally from the medication. That has actually completely subsided, and it actually had subsided by the time I filmed that, but I did mention it, and I know a lot of people were very kindly saying that coffee causes acid reflux, and yes, it does in certain people. That is actually no longer an issue for me, that my diet and the medication that I'm on has settled that down, and I thankfully no longer have acid reflux. Now, there is also possibly another reason as to why, which I'll get back into in a second. But the first one that I want to chat to you about is, as I said, my switch from my different types of plant milks. And I'm going to call them plant milks. I'm not calling them plant drinks because it's just ridiculous. But anyway, originally I drank cashew milk the whole way through my weight loss journey. And after I had Brannock, I, for some reason, started drinking oat milk in my coffee. I have no idea why. I also used to drink filter coffee a lot. That was my coffee of choice. When I was pregnant, I couldn't stomach coffee at all, except for a decaf almond milk mocha. That was my go-to during pregnancy. Oh, it was so good. But after pregnancy, for some reason, my taste changed, and I decided to switch to Americanos with cold oat milk. Now, I love, in the States, you guys have half and half. And that's not something we have here. Also, half and half is not plant-based, but that was what I would have drank when I was in America. And I loved it. It's the creaminess of really like a creamer that I like. And oat milk has rapeseed oil in it typically. So I was drinking either Oatly or Minor Figures. The Minor Figures light I would try to go for, so it's 38 calories per 100 ml, or 56 for Oatly. And I would take about 80 ml, so I actually need less because it's creamier than other milks. However, I noticed that I was bloated, and I think that this is one of the main culprits for me. Now, I am not saying, and I know a lot of people in the comments of my last video were you know, confused as to why I was removing oats. I just want to stress that this is for me. This is my digestive system. This is my specific microbiome. This might not have any impact on anybody else, but I've noticed for my life that oats don't really agree with me. I tend to be bloated and or have digestive issues when I consume oats. And I love them. I love oat milk and I love porridge, but it just doesn't seem to sit well with me. I have no issue with gluten. Gluten has no bother on me. Pasta, bread, none of that has any issue on me. But oats are specifically very hard for my system to digest. I'm not sure why, but they are. And I didn't really put two and two together before between oat milk and oats, even though it's obvious. And I didn't think because there's less fiber in it that, you know, that the oat milk might have any kind of impact, but it did. And I've definitely struggled to switch to almond milk when out and about. I've definitely struggled at home, but what I found is I found the Rude Health brand, and this is not sponsored. This is, I've paid for every single one of these cartons that I've gotten. I found that Rude Health is a phenomenal brand. It's very clean. There's not many ingredients in it, and they have one or two of their almond milks actually has the oil in it, so it's higher in calories, so it's around the 56 as well, similar to oat milk, but it has that creaminess that I search for and that I like. And fat, I am very good with fat. Fat works well in my system, weirdly enough. Dairy and oats don't work at all. Not that I consume dairy anymore, but they do not work in my system. That is the biggest change that I made. So I'm drinking that at home. However, I did find, just to give you a little like rundown, I've noticed that the kind of simpler the ingredients of the milks are, that they have a tendency to curdle if not heated. So I just have one of those frothers. I'll leave a link down below. I got one on Amazon, and I don't actually froth the milk because I'm not as big a fan of frothy coffee. I like it just more creamy. I've talked like nearly 10 minutes about coffee, haven't I? Oh my gosh. Sorry guys. By warming up the almond milk and putting it into my hot coffee, then it has less of the curdling effect. I've also switched now to cashew milk in the afternoon. It doesn't give me as much of that creamy taste, but it's less calories, so it's only 23 calories per 100 ml, and I have that with my decaf then for my last two coffees. So the first two in the morning I have my almond milk with the oil in it, the two afterwards I have cashew milk and I have a decaf. So that's a big change. Next, I'm going on to the sweetener, and I do believe that this is the main culprit. This is where everything has gone down. I like my coffee sweet, and somebody mentioned, if you don't like your coffee or black, do you like coffee at all? And to be honest with you, I kind of like it. That's like saying if you don't like chicken boiled, then you don't like chicken at all. You know, that's like, it's the flavors, the way you enhance things to your taste. So yes, I like sweet, creamy coffee. I was trying to take it neat, like with no sweetener in it. And guys, between the almond milk when I was out and that, I was struggling, to be honest with you. I was really, really struggling. And I did cave about 3 times in the month until I found a suitable option. My first option that I started taking was coconut sugar. And that is freaking delicious, except coconut sugar has quite a few calories in it. And I didn't want to be, because of the amount of coffee that I drink, I didn't want to be, and this is not to do, I just want to, digestional issues are actually not to do with my coffee. Coffee works really well with me, just to let you know, because I figured this out before anyone starts in the comments about, well, you just reduce your coffee. No, I don't need to, because I found it's worked out. I then switched to stevia. And I know that the jury is still out on the effect of stevia on your microbiome and on your gut health, but at the moment it seems to be one of the best options. It is also 0 calories, so consuming stevia, and I've noticed that I need considerably less stevia. So I was having 3 hermasitas per coffee, if not 4 sometimes, or canderel, and now I am having 1 teaspoon of stevia. And I'm used to now the singular bit of sweetness, and I don't think I would even be able to have the really sweet coffee anymore. And I'm sure my taste will evolve, and eventually I will have no problem with consuming it with no sweetener. I did also switch for 1 coffee in the afternoon if I'm out and about and I really want something. I have my little bag of stevia in my, here's my handbag. I have my little bag of stevia. I use the Canderel, oh no, Splenda stevia, and this is erythritol and stevia. That's all that's in it. Yeah, this one you use teaspoon for teaspoon. Teaspoon of sugar equals a teaspoon of stevia, the mix that is. But in the afternoons, occasionally as a kind of a treat, I have been having coconut milk flat whites, and that is, with some of my stevia in it, is delicious, and I'm really enjoying that. And I really enjoy every single one of my coffees now, and I have no issue afterwards because I'm pretty sure of the sweetener. It was the sweetener. So the Hermesiters and the Canderel were really, they just didn't work with my microbiome at all, if you get me. So those 2 changes have completely transformed my digestive system. I also wanted to stop sugar. This didn't go as well, guys. I'm not gonna lie, this wasn't as good. I know that when I'm exhausted, I reach for sugar or sugary type things. I wouldn't say I tend to be exhausted. I have a lot more energy now than I had before. I'm very lucky that Brannock is quite a good sleeper. That's me touching wood. My in-laws were over and we went out and we were going for lunch, but we were a while before we went to the lunch place. And we were in just a cafe after we went to Newgrange, in Newgrange. And there was a vegan, the only vegan option was fruit, which I should have had, but I didn't. But Vincent was gonna get a brownie, and then I was like, oh look, there's a vegan cake. And we had the vegan cake. Now we split it between 4 of us, but it was delicious. But that was only a small portion, and then I think I had that day, then I ended up having a brookie in the next place that I went to, because it was just like, I caved. I had the sugar, guys. And I had a cake that my mom made the day before, and you know, there was a weekend basically, last weekend, where I ate some sugar. However, I did notice that it didn't give me as much of a slump as I had had before, and it wasn't having that much of an effect on me. And I think for me now, I'm just going to really get into things in moderation, having something sweet when I really want to have it, you know, having some kind of sugar, not berating myself. I'm not quitting sugar, but just having something occasionally. But that definitely has not had an effect necessarily on my gut health. However, I do believe that the reduction in sugar plus my medication, you know, leveling out, has had an effect on my acid reflux, because I do know that sugar gives me acid reflux, and I now have no acid reflux. I have no gut health issues. So I'm doing pretty good at the moment. The other thing that I wanted to do was to continue off and finish my Simproof journey. And Simproof is, I'll leave a picture here, it's live bacteria that you get in a bottle, and you store it in the fridge once it's opened, and you take 1 shot every single morning, at least 10 minutes before you eat. And this was very kindly gifted to me by Mars Pharmacy, Una from Mars Pharmacy. I met her at an event and she sent it out to me. It is pricey, I believe. For the 3 months, it's 300, but I think that they do a deal on it where it's like 2 months for the price of 3. So I've completed this now twice. The first time I was really heavily into my gut health was really poor, and I do believe that now it was to do with the oat milk and the aspartame plus the medication that I was on. And I just felt that the Simproof was basically trying to put a band-aid over a gaping wound in my leg. This time I really started to notice a difference with it by around, within the last 3-4 weeks. That's when I really noticed a difference. Now, I cannot say that this is down to Simproof. I think that this is down to Simproof plus reducing my sugar, you know, somewhat, plus not having aspartame or any artificial sweeteners, and plus switching my plant milk. It is an investment, it is expensive. Do I think I will buy it again now myself? I would probably do a cycle of it. I know a lot of people do it like the whole year long, they never stop. I don't know if that's something that I'm willing to invest in right now. It's quite pricey for me. I seem to be doing okay with my gut health, except when I had a stomach bug last week. That was great crack. Or this week, I have no idea what day it is. But I do know that I probably will do it again, maybe at the end of the year, I'll do 2 cycles of it a year and see how that helps with my gut health as I continue on. If it was a little bit less in money, I probably would, but also we should invest in our health if we can. So Simproof, I'm not 100% sold. I don't believe for me that it's given me like an energy boost or has helped with my mental health particularly. I think that's down a lot to the drugs. I also, halfway through this journey, got put on a higher dose of my antidepressant medication, and I didn't have any effect on my gut health being on double what I was on previously. That seems to have, all of the other changes that I was doing seemed to have that outcome, seem to have, you know, counteracted any negative or adverse effects of having a higher dosage of my medication. One other thing I just want to mention is I drink now nearly no soft drinks. I think in the whole month I had 2 soft drinks. Typically I would try and only have a soft drink on the weekend. What I've actually switched to now, my main drinks are water. I'm drinking at least back to 2 to 3 liters of water per day. I have my 4 coffees in the day, 2 decaf, 2 regular, and kombucha. Kombucha has now become my main source of a treat drink. So I will have kombucha when I go and get a Sprout. They have the Synergy kombucha, which I really like. Their green tea one, or the tea one, is my favorite. And then I will have some of this, I think they're Synergies as well, from Holland & Barrett, or I'll get them wherever they have them, especially if they're on discount or something like that. I'll buy a couple of them, keep them in the fridge, and that's what I'll have then on the weekend. Typically on the weekend, if you've seen my vlogs before, Friday night is pizza party Friday night in our house, and Saturday night is when I make Saturday night spice bags. Vegan versions, most of them homemade. The pizza's from the freezer because I ain't got time for that. If I'm using a sweetener in anything, sometimes I will have some yogurt with some fruit on it. I really like the chicory root syrup from Homespun by the lovely Erica, who has created that brand. It's only, I believe, available in Ireland at the moment. I'll leave it linked down below, but that has been really nice, although it still has calories in it, but it's very high in fiber, so it's very good for your gut health as well. So changing all of those things, so basically changing over my milk, reducing and basically now cutting out artificial sweeteners, switching over to kombucha, like adding in fermented foods, sauerkraut, kombucha, etc. Adding in, you know, changing over to the stevia, these things, and finishing off the Simproof journey, these have all really helped with my gut health, and I have to say it was worth the effort and worth the trial. Guys, if you've made it to the end of the video, please leave me a green heart for my green top, and if you've enjoyed it, please subscribe. Make sure you like the video, turn on the notifications so you never miss a video from me, and I will be back to you very soon. Bye guys. If anyone has noticed, the shoe pile behind me is getting